What's going on, everybody? This is Island Hopper TV, and today we are going to go over the 27 best things to do in Phuket, Thailand. We will put timestamps below in the description, so do check the description to bounce around the video and see other segments. Alright guys, so first up we're going to talk about beaches. Next up, we're going to do some island hopping. There are many islands that you can get around from Phuket. Even if you go out towards the Indian Ocean, you're going to come across the Similan Islands. If you go across the bay into the Andaman Sea, you're going to have many islands just off the coast of Phuket headed towards Koh Phi Phi. You're going to have James Bond Island, Hong Island, and many, many more. So island hopping from Phuket is a common thing that you will do when you come here. It would take weeks to explore them all because there is 39, but some to consider off the coast of Phuket also. There is Coconut Island. There's also Koh Yao Yi. That has resorts on it. It's a smaller island right in the middle of the Andaman Sea in between Krabi and Phuket. Or you could take a boat to Koh Phangan. Now this is an Islamic village that sits on stilts, and when the tide goes out you can actually see the shoreline that they're built upon, but when the tide is up it looks like they're literally floating on the ocean, and most of the village really truly is. The main attraction here that most people go towards is the mosque, but they also have a soccer field. Many people have taken drone shots. If you use Google, this is the island that they're taking a picture of, and this is the floating village that is attached to the island. And you can see what it looks like when it's low tide here. Now this is more of a cultural experience than anything else, just a heads up. Most of the time you'll spend walking around actually looking at the shops and doing real shopping. That's pretty much all there is to do out here aside from check out the mosque. But it's a cool place to at least explore because it's like, how are people living out here? Many of the boat tours that originate in Phuket will go here for about an hour, which includes a buffet lunch, so it's usually in one of those tours. Next up, let's talk about food. Because, you know, when you come to Phuket, you're going to have an appetite at least 3 times per day, and you want to know what you're going to eat. I recommend the local cuisine, which will include several different types of curry, whether it's chicken curry or beef curry, shrimp curry, seafood curry, lots of that. Also pad thai. There's plenty of fried dishes like spring rolls. While here, consider trying Hokkien noodles, which is a noodle dish that's really coming from Phuket. There's also plenty of seafood here. You will notice lobster tail. You'll also have crab. You'll have prawns. You'll have snapper. So do be ready for some seafood. Pineapple rice, various types of steak, barbecue, So much quality local food to be had across the island of Phuket. And if local food's not your thing, have no fear. They have plenty of cheeseburgers and french fries and all of that Western food that some of you may prefer. But if the Western cuisine is something you're looking for, you're only really going to find that in Patong Beach or Phuket Town. Now, if you're looking for a breakfast, they have a variety of different breakfasts, including Western breakfast or English breakfast. So international food is also part of Phuket local food, with a variety of different coffee and black tea. Next up, we're going to highlight another beach. This one is called Kata Beach, and it's actually the second most popular beach, I would say, on all of Phuket. Down here, you're going to get this cove sitting along some mountains. Kata is considered a family-friendly beach, whereas Patong is considered a single party person's beach. It's also a place where you can get a more relaxing vibe for nightlife instead of the ruckus that you get in Patong. Also, they have fantastic local cuisine. The weather here is mild, just like anywhere else on Phuket. We will be looking to do a video about the best areas to stay in Phuket, and this would probably be one of them, especially if you're coming with a family, because it's more relaxing, less ruckus with the partying, like I said, and it has a good overall swimming environment for lounging on the beach. Next up, we're going to take you to another one of those destinations that you have to go by boat. So this is part of island hopping, James Bond Island. The reason it's called James Bond Island is because 007 was actually filmed here. The scene in particular was where he was bringing up a gun onto the beach. The exact movie is actually called The Man with the Golden Gun. And the area where it sits is actually called Phang Na, which is actually a marine sanctuary. But here you'll find these limestone islands. Some of them have very unique characteristics, like James Bond Island, which has the spire that pops up just off the beach. It does get a bit crowded and touristy, but still a very cool place to come and take a picture or just walk around and check out the marine sanctuary, which has around 100 other islands for you to explore, all with these rocky pinnacles. Next up, we're going to go to the old town, Phuket Town, which sits along Thalong Road. And this colorful old town was established in the 19th century, and this is where Sino-Portuguese buildings were built. So it has a variety of different European architecture that was from here, such as Portugal, Italian, some French, some British, and that's what it's really known for. Nowadays, you spend 2 to 3 hours here, you go to some pubs, you go to some cafes, and you enjoy some local cuisine. But like I said, it is known for its colorful buildings. There are hotels here, and this is the main port area where you would get to Phi Phi Island, but I would not recommend staying here because there's no real beaches. But if you need to get a base camp from Phi Phi Island, this might be where you would stay. And some of the heritage sites around here include shrines, museums, temples, all of which incorporate that colonial past with the Chinese traders that were here and the local Thai. Next up, we're actually going to head back over to the west side of the island where they have most of the paragliding or parasailing. This is where you get the parachute, you attach to a jet boat, and you really go high up there. Now, be sure to take all safety precautions into consideration when doing this, but it is definitely a place to turn yourself into a drone. You will feel like you're getting the bird's eye view that all the drones get. I mean, you'll be high above Karan Beach, Kata Beach, Patong Beach, and the views are spectacular up here. There's usually a man who goes up with you. He's not even attached to anything, which I found to be amazing because that seems so daring. But you will be strapped in very tightly, so don't worry about that. Now, the price to do something like this is anywhere between 1,000 to 1,500 baht, depending on which vendor you go with. And 1,000 baht, just for a frame of reference, is around $30 US. And when it comes to filming something like this, your friends on the ground can film the takeoff and the landing, but you can also bring a GoPro, so keep that in mind. I would not take a cell phone, but a GoPro with a stick probably would be the best way for you to actually film going up here on this adventure. Alright guys, next up we're actually going to talk about kayaking tours. So you can do it in many places around the Andaman Sea, which is the main sea that goes around Phuket. But when you go over to Phang Na Marine Reserve, many islands over there for you to do a tour. There's other islands south of Phuket that you can do tours and kayak with. but many different kayaking tours are going to be available. You can ask a local vendor when you get there, or you can do some research to find out exactly where the best places are to kayak. Some areas that you can research are going to be Karan Beach, Layon Beach, Rawai, which is in the south, and of course these other islands just off the coast. So there's some areas that you can look. Mai Khao Beach also. This area that you see right now is actually called Hong Island. Now, do be aware there is 2 Hong Islands in the area in between Phuket and Krabi, so make sure you get the right Hong Island. But both of them do offer tours there. They're both very popular places. Hong actually in Thai means house, or more specifically, hidden place. And the reason they call it that is because the fishermen used to take refuge in these islands when big waves or storms would come through. Next up, we're going to talk about a very interesting place called Monkey Hill. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there that monkeys are not always that friendly, and you should read up on your encounters with monkeys before you go so you know what the potential dangers are. But many people come to Thailand and they want to take pictures with monkeys, and no matter where the monkeys are, they're mostly going to be the same species. And the reason I say all this is because these are wild animals, and at the end of the day, wild animals can be unpredictable. Really, what you're doing here is you're hiking up to the top of the mountain where you get these 360-degree views of Phuket. But along that trail is going to be many, many monkeys and some stray dogs. And you can see the monkeys literally line up on both sides of the road as you're walking the trail. Now, I would recommend not trying to tempt or taunt any monkeys or even fight back if you are attacked, because they do have the gang mentality. Next up, let's change gears here back to the beach to surfing. Now, there are many places in the world where the waves are just so gentle and friendly, and the opportunity to learn surfing is perfect. Some of those places that come to mind: Costa Rica, Bali. Well, you can add Phuket to the list also. The west side of the island is where the surfing is available. It's not huge waves like Hawaii or Tahiti. It's more gentle waves, a good place for people to learn. Some places to do that would be Kata Beach, which we showed you previously, Kamala Beach, Surin Beach. Those are just a few to name. Prices for this can vary depending on where you get your lessons. Just simply go to Google and type in Phuket surfing lessons school, something like that, and you'll get a variety of different prices. But surfboard rentals range anywhere between 150 to 300 baht per hour, and surfing lessons can be as high as 1,000 baht per person for a group lesson. By the way, guys, you can download an app on the Google App Store or on the Apple iStore called XE, and it works great for currency conversion. Next up, let's talk about Naka Island. Now, this place was referred to me by locals, and it does have some resorts, but I found the vibes out here to be very peaceful, and spending a night or two out here would make sense. But the good news is you actually don't need to stay the night out here to have a good time. You can take a longtail boat or a speedboat or get on a tour and just head out here and explore it and hang out riding jet skis, or just lounging at the beach, getting a Mai Tai right there while you kind of relax and hang out away from the hustle and bustle of the main island of Phuket. And everything you see off in the distance is actually other islands, so from here you can base camp and do more island hopping and tours from this area. This is actually facing towards the east, which is facing towards Krabi and not towards Phuket. The people out here really are on island time, and they have that island time personality, which is refreshing. Also, you can see plenty of drinking goes on out here and fresh fruit to be had. Next up, we're going to actually head towards the southern part of the island to Yanui Beach. I really like this area because of the scenic overlooks you get here. It is very beautiful. Also, they have good snorkeling out here. There's an island just off the beach. It's not inhabited, but you can see it for kayaking, or you can actually swim out there, maybe do some snorkeling, depending on what you like. But Yanui Beach is one of those places you can get a really low profile, laid back jungle vibe. You can actually take a moped from here. It's about 40 minutes south of Patong, probably around 25 minutes south of Kata. So really getting here is a little bit of a trek, but it's worth it. It's truly an adventure day. And another thing to 2017. Under the bottom of the actual Buddha, you can meet Buddhist monks who will help you with guided meditations. So if learning about Buddhism is something you're interested in, this would be one of the best places on the island to go to and hang out for about 1 to 2 hours. And if all of this sounds like a bit too much, you can actually find a resort that looks like a place you could hang out all day and literally just hang out all day, whether it's by the pool or by the beach. I noticed many people come to Phuket just to spend a couple days literally relaxing, resting the mind and resting the body while in a beautiful place. There are many different resorts here. They have all-inclusive. They have resorts where you can bring the whole family, then they have adults only. So you can look that up online before coming here if a resort day or a resort kind of palace like this is available. But most of those are going to be on the southwest side of the island, south of Patong. They have some stuff north of Phuket that you may want to check out, like the Inianala Beach House, which is where the Kardashians stay. Some people want to know about that. I personally could care less. Checking out around the areas of Karan or Kata, especially if you're looking for a relaxing stay. Even further south towards Rawai is going to have some interesting resorts. Next up, let's talk about Buddhism a bit more and the opportunity. Now, depending on what enjoyed this one, and we'll see you on the next one.